Good evening. This is a fifth video lesson of chapter 2, electric potential and capacitance. Yesterday we were discussing about dielectrics and polarization. The video ended all of a sudden. So let us just begin it from the beginning. The topic was dielectrics and polarization. So in last class I said that dielectric is nothing but a non-conductor. A glass, mica, water, you can give any example, which does not have readily available with it the free electrons. So dielectrics does not contain free electrons like conductors. So when you place such a dielectric in an external electric field, we said that the molecules of the dielectric will be stretched in such a way because of the external electric field that the spherical molecule will become ellipsoidal, and negative and positive charge centers are separated so that a new dipole moment is induced and a new dipole new electric field is produced inside the dielectric. So this was the case yesterday we were discussing. This is a uniform electric field, external electric field. So this will be a positive polarity always, this will be a negative polarity. Now we are placing a dielectric slab, right? Now here is a molecule which was spherical, now will be stretched like this. Here also another molecule will be stretched like this. So a molecule contains equal amount of positive and negative charge, and this positive polarity will pull negative charge this side and positive charge will be this side. Similarly this molecule also, here there will be negative charge and here there will be positive charge. If you take another molecule here there is negative positive and here also there is negative positive. So therefore now inside the molecule the electric field will be produced from positive to negative, positive to negative. So these all electric fields will add up. So inside the dielectric, I repeat, inside the dielectric there is electric field induced. So this is E induced inside, and already there is one electric field is going inside, that is nothing but E external. So this is external. So E external is in this direction. This is E external. So net electric field inside the dielectric will be E net equals to E external minus E induced. And remember, this will be always equals to E external whole divided by K, where K is known as dielectric constant. So whenever you keep a dielectric in an external electric field inside will decrease by K times. And I was speaking about a conductor. So in the same external electric field, this is E external uniform electric field, this side positive and this side negative. Now I place a metal slab. This is a metal slab. We know that metals contain a large number of free electrons. So therefore all free electrons will be pulled to this side and equal amount of positive charge will go to other side. So this polarization, separation of negative and positive charge centers will continue until electric field inside this metal slab is equal and opposite to the external electric field. I repeat, the polarization of charges, that is separation of negative charge centers and positive charge centers, will continue until electric field inside the metal slab from positive to negative. This is the direction. This is E induced. E induced. The electric field induced is equal and opposite to the external electric field. Till that time it will continue. Suppose external electric field is 100 Newton per Coulomb. Now what is the induced field inside? It also will become 100 Newton per Coulomb. So 100 Newton per Coulomb is going from here to there. 100 Newton per Coulomb is coming from here to there. So both of them are equal and opposite. Therefore net electric field inside the metal will be 0. So E net equals to 0. So this is the difference between a non-conductor and a conductor. So non-conductor is known as a dielectric. Okay. So examples of dielectric are glass you can take, water you can take, mica you can take, oil you can take, right? No. So now this is actually called as a polar molecule. Sometimes what will happen, you will have non-polar molecules. For example, hydrogen, H2 is a non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecule means its positive charge center and negative charge center both will what coincide. When you place such a non-polar molecule in an external electric field, it will be polarized. Now the spherical shape will become ellipsoidal, negative will come at one end, positive will go to other end. Now this is said to be what? Polarized. So what is polarization of charges means? It is separating the negative charge centers from positive charge centers. As a result, what will happen? It is induced with dipoles and therefore it produces its own electric field in a direction opposite to the electric field in which it is kept. I repeat, when a dielectric is placed in an external electric field, it produces an electric field inside it. Which one? Dielectric will produce or rather induce an electric field inside it in such a way that it is opposite to the direction of external electric field. Remember, the field induced in the dielectric is not equal to external field in the case of dielectrics. The field produced inside the dielectric is not equal to external electric field. The field produced inside metal is always equals to external electric field. So that is why net field will be what? Zero. Here net field will never become zero. Okay, right. So polar and non-polar molecules will be there. Polar molecules means which are readily available with them a dipole moment, and therefore when it is placed, automatically electric field is what produced. Polar also, whose centers are coinciding, they don't have net dipole moment, but when such non-polar molecules are kept in a external electric field, what will happen? They stretch in such a way that electric field is produced. Right. Now I will sum up this. When a dielectric is placed inside the external electric field, inside the dielectric, the electric field will decrease by k times. When a metallic conductor is placed inside the external electric field inside the metal conductor will be zero. Right? Okay. So with this idea, we will be going to the other topic, that is nothing but what? Capacitors and capacitance. So capacitors. Capacitors will find very wide application in our daily life. Everywhere we use, in every electrical appliance there is a capacitor. Capacitor is a device, intermittently it will store the energy and it will supply the energy. It is not like a battery. Battery is a ideal source which constantly supplies the energy, but it is not like that. All of a sudden its supply and charging and discharging will be something different from the battery. The charging and discharging properties will be exponential for the capacitors. So capacitors are there in electrical fans, ceiling fans, will be there in the grinder and mixer, whatever be the electrical appliance you name. Okay, so in every appliance you find capacitors. So capacitors have a property which is called capacitance. Capacitance. This is denoted by small c. So as name suggests, literally capacitance means it is the ability of a capacitor to store electric charge. Capacitance means it is the ability of a device, a body, to store electric charge. If it is able to store more charge, we will say it has got more capacitance, and less charge, it will have less capacitance. But this is only for our understanding. Then how do you make the capacitance calculations? Which body will have more capacitance, which body will have less capacitance? You require some mathematical calculation. That is why we take the help of charge and potential of the capacitor. Okay, so the ratio between charge and potential is known as capacitance. So capacitance equals to charge of the capacitor divided by potential on it. Symbols when you write, C equals to Q by V. C is the capacitance, Q is the charge, V is the potential. So this is the mathematical expression. And if you write SI unit, SI unit. Q is measured in coulomb. Potential is measured in what? Volt. Instead of using two scientists' names, we use a single scientist name, that is Farad, in the name of scientist Michael Faraday. So Farad is a unit named after a scientist. That's why the symbol of Farad, F, should be what? Capital, as you have studied in class 11th. Okay, right. So Farad actually is a very big capacitance, because 1 coulomb charge is a very big charge. We said that 6.25 into 10 power 18 number of electrons should be pulled together so that they will make up 1 coulomb of charge. So therefore, when 1 coulomb is very big charge, coulomb by volt also will become very big. So Farad is a very big unit of capacitance. It's very difficult to construct capacitors of 1 Farad range. So that is why we have smaller units. Smaller units of capacitance, that is millifarad. This is written as small m, capital F. Microfarad, mu F. Nanofarad, small n, capital F. Picofarad, small p, capital F, etc. You know that 1 millifarad is nothing but 10 power minus 3 farad. 1 microfarad is 10 power minus 6 farad. 1 nano is 10 power minus 9 farad. And 1 pico is 10 power minus 12 farad. Mostly we will be dealing with micros or nanos. Of course, now and then picofarads. Millifarad also is relatively a bigger unit, because millifarad is 1000 times bigger than the microfarad. So SI unit of capacitance is farad. Okay, it is defined as the ratio between charge and potential. Okay, how much is 1 farad means if the potential of the body rises by 1 volt, when 1 coulomb of charge is supplied to it, then the capacitance of that body is said to be 1 farad. Define SI unit of capacitance. One more question. Define SI unit of capacitance. Then how do you define? You should recall first, SI unit of capacitance is farad. 1 farad equals to 1 coulomb by 1 volt. So therefore, if the potential of the body increases by 1 volt, when a 1 coulomb of charge is supplied onto it, then the capacitance of the body is said to be 1 farad. Then what are the smaller units? 10 power minus 3, 10 power minus 6, 10 power minus 9, 10 power minus 12. Right. Another thing is, it is a scalar quantity. Because charge is a scalar quantity, potential is also a scalar quantity, scalar by scalar will remain as a scalar. So this is about what? Capacitance. Okay, right. Now, what is the principle of a capacitor? Principle of capacitor. On which principle does it work? Or what do you do in order to make or increase the capacitance of a capacitor? Remember, capacitor is a body, capacitance is its property. Fine? Okay. Now, let us say you have a sphere center and it is positively charged. How do you do it? By rubbing it with a cloth, you can transfer the electrons from sphere to that cloth, so that this will become what? Positively charged. Let R be the radius. Okay? Right. Now, C equals to Q by V. Okay, let me write it somewhere, because the diagram will continue. C equals to Q by V. Okay, right. Now, what is Q? The total amount of charge spread on the surface. What is V? V is the potential. So this is, suppose if I increase the charge on its surface, what will happen? Q value will increase. there was a 10 microcoulomb charge on the surface. Now I am supplying 10 more microcoulomb, so that the charge will become now 20 microcoulomb. So as the charge is increasing, we feel that the capacitance also will increase. Right? Now, charge is doubled, 10 microcoulomb to 20 microcoulomb. So capacitance also should become what? Double. But you just observe this factor in the denominator, which is nothing but what? V. Where is V? Is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q divided by R, radius of this one. Where is this Q? Where is this V? V is there inside everywhere with constant value. Yesterday we have discussed. Potential inside the volume is uniform everywhere, constant everywhere. It has got value on the surface also. Okay? Right. When I increase the charge from 10 microcoulomb to 20 microcoulomb, here also it is increasing. So potential is also increasing. So when charge is doubled, potential is also doubled. So this will 2Q by 2V. So 2 will get cancelled. Again you will get what? Q by V. Okay. So upon doubling the charge on the sphere, are you able to double the capacitance? No. When you double the charge, potential is also doubled. Therefore 2 will get cancelled. It will remain same. Before doubling, how much was there? Capacitance Q by V. After doubling also, how much is there? Q by V only. So by increasing the charge on it, simply you are unable to increase the capacitance. Then what to do? We will see. Now I bring another conductor. Say this is A and this is B. This is what? Uncharged. Uncharged sphere. This is what? Charged sphere. Right. Now it is kept on a insulating stand, so that if any excess charge comes by induction, this also is kept on the insulating stand, this also kept on insulating stand. We are not showing now. Now when you bring B near to A, what will happen? It is a sphere, metal sphere. So the negative charges will show up on the front face, because this will pull here and positive charges will go back side. Okay? Right. Now, if you ground this, earthing like this, what will happen? If there are say 6 positive charges, 6 free electrons will come here. It will attract 6. These charges will attract equal number of electrons from ground, and this will be what? Neutralized. Okay? Then after that, what you do? You remove this earthing and move it slightly away, so that the negative charge will spread over the surface. Now for this configuration, so this is positive charge here, and now the sphere has got what? Negative charge on its surface. Fine. Now this negative sphere will contribute for negative potential on the surface. Suppose it was having 10 volt. Now this will contribute some 5 volt here, minus 5 volt. So 10 minus 5 is nothing but what? 5 volt only. Before bringing this B, the potential on the surface of this is, say, let us say 10 volt. Clear? When it is brought nearby and earthing and then removing the earthing, so that the charge on it is spread uniformly and the distance remains same, then this will produce a negative potential on the surface of A. So therefore, how much it is producing here? Let us say 5 volt. Why can't it be 10 volt here? Because this center is far away from this. It can produce 10 volt only on its surface, but here it cannot produce 10 volt, because there is a separation. V equals 1 by 4 by epsilon naught into Q by R. As R is increasing, what will happen? Potential will what? Decrease. It will be less. So it will produce a 5 volt here. So 10 volt of its own potential minus 5 volt of other induced voltage. So total voltage will become how much? 5 volt. Now you see. Did I disturb this charge? No. The charge is as it is. Only thing is, by bringing an uncharged conductor near a charged conductor, the potential is decreased from 10 volt to 5 volt. Now you see this formula again. C equals to Q by V. Am I disturbing this charge? No, it is there. It is a bound charge. It cannot move, it cannot fly. It has to stay there over the surface. Is there any change in the potential? Yes. Earlier how much it was? 10 volt. Now how much it is? 5 volt. So 5 volt. So 10 volt has become 5 volt. Means reduced to half. Now capacitance will become double. So there is no change in the charge, but potential has become what? Half. Therefore capacitance will become what? Double. So this is the principle of a capacitor. So capacitance of a body can be increased by decreasing the potential on the surface. By decreasing the potential on the surface. That can be done by bringing an uncharged conductor near to a charged conductor. Is this clear? I repeat. Principle of capacitor is that the capacitance can be increased. The capacitance can be increased by decreasing the potential without altering the charge. By bringing this, the charge is not altered, but potential is what? Decreased. So decreasing the potential without altering the charge, the capacitance of a body can be increased. This is the principle of the capacitor. Okay? Right. So if at all you are asked to explain the principle of capacitor or capacitance, means this you have to write. What do you write? The capacitance of a body can be increased by decreasing the potential on its surface without disturbing the charge on it. That means Q will remain same, but V can be decreased so that C can be increased. This is the principle of a capacitor. Right? Right. Then we will move ahead with a parallel plate capacitor. Parallel plate capacitor. The symbol of this will be two plates like this, and these are the connecting wires. You can write here C as a symbol. That means plates are like this only. Positive plate and here is the positive plate and this is the negative plate. So when you see from that side, when you take a snapshot of this, when you take a pic of this one, you can see only this edge and this edge. That's what we have shown here. Edges only we have shown. Actually they are nothing but what? Plates. Plates kept parallel to each other with some distance. So the combination is denoted as what? C. Fine. Now let us see how you can calculate how much is the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. You have a plate here, metal plate, and this is the wire. It can be connected to this, and below this you take another plate, maybe identical. Better if it is identical, even if not identical also no problem, like this. So two plates I kept them like this. The separation between them is D. The centers are separated by a distance D, like this. The centers are separated by a distance D. Right. Now, this is electrically neutral, this is also electrically neutral. Total charge on this is 0, total charge on this is 0. So therefore they cannot produce an electric field. Now what I do? I connect them to a battery. So plus minus. Now what will happen? It's a metal plate. It contains a large number of free electrons. This is the positive terminal. Then what will happen? The positive terminal of this battery will pull all the free electrons from this surface. So this plate is losing electrons to the battery. So therefore, when it loses electrons, automatically it acquires a positive charge. Is this clear? So this positive polarity of the battery will pull free electrons. So this is an ideal source. It cannot absorb any charge. So how many number of electrons it has pulled, it will supply the same number of electrons to this one. So therefore this acquires equal amount of negative charge. Now, so this is plus sigma and this is what? Minus sigma, because A is the area of surface, where sigma equals to Q by A, charge divided by surface area. Now it produces a uniform electric field between these two. So this is a uniform electric field from positive to negative. So this is the direction of E. While discussing the application of Gauss law, the second application, electric field due to a thin sheet of charge, we discussed that if we have two equal but opposite charged plates facing each other, electric field between them will what? Add up. Okay, sheet of charge, what is the expression? Sheet of charge electric field expression is E equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So this plate will produce an electric field here which is nothing but sigma by 2 epsilon naught. And this plate also will produce electric field same amount, because electric field does not depend for the sheet of charge on the distance. Electric field of sheet of charge does not depend on the distance. Whether at this point, at this point, at this point, at every point, it will produce same electric field sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So this being a positive plate, it produces electric field radially outwards from here. And this radially inwards. So this is. How much it produces? Same sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So both will now add up. Sigma by 2 epsilon naught, sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So this will be sigma by epsilon 0. So if at all one more question is asked, what is the net electric field available between the plates of the parallel plate capacitor, means what is your answer? Sigma by epsilon naught. Sigma is nothing but what? Q by A. Q by A into epsilon naught. Right. Now, so this pulling of charges will continue until this capacitor attains, the combination attains the same potential difference as that of the battery. Suppose you have connected a 12 volt battery, the potential difference between the plates also must be what? 12 volt. Till that time, this induction of charges on the plate will what? Continue. Am I clear? So, plates are separated by distance d. Electric field is uniform with a value sigma by epsilon naught. Now the plates have developed a potential difference how much? V. So this is the potential difference V. Okay, right. Now we are now with the expression E equals to sigma by epsilon naught, that equals to Q by A into epsilon naught, equation 1. This we are using there. Now, in this chapter, we have derived a relation between electric field and electric potential. What is that? E equals to minus dV by dx. What was the implication of this equation? Implication of this equation was that electric potential decreases in the direction of electric field. Electric potential decreases in the direction of electric field. If I want to, that is the significance of negative sign. If I want to write only the magnitude, this will be V minus 0. V2 minus V1 is dV. V2 is V. V1 is 0. V divided by dx is nothing but what? D. Dx means x2 minus x1. Separation between the two equipotential surfaces. Separation between the two plates. This is nothing but how much? D. So now, also E equals to V by D. Equation 2. So LHS are equal on equation 1 and equation 2. You can equate the RHS. So Q by, this implies Q by A into epsilon naught equals to V by D. You bring V this side, Q by V equals to A epsilon naught D will go that side. But Q by V is nothing but what? We have defined capacitance as a ratio between charge and potential. So this will become C equals to A epsilon naught divided by D. Very simple. Derive expression for capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. This much only. How many equations we have used? Only 2 equations. What are they? Electric field between the plates is sigma by epsilon naught. Electric field also can be expressed in terms of potential and distance as E equals V by D. Potential gradient, of course, negative. Negative significance I told you already. So potential gradient is always equals to what? Electric field. Equate these 2 equations, you will get what? This one. Now you see the beauty of this equation. Though we have defined capacitance as ratio between charge and potential, but the real expression does not involve with the charge or potential. Capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor depends on area of the surface of the plates. If the plate surface area is large, you will have large capacitance. The capacitance also increases with minimizing the distance between the plates. Plates are separated like this, capacitance is something. Bring the plates closer and closer. What will happen? Capacitance will be what? Increasing. Right? Two factors. Third factor, epsilon naught. What is this epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is what? Permittivity. Permittivity of the vacuum. Nothing is kept here. Only air is there. Or vacuum can be there. So it depends on permittivity also. Permittivity is a constant 8.85 into 10 power minus 12 with SI unit. So therefore, capacitance does not depend on the electrical parameters like charge and potential. Though definition wise we have given that C equals Q by V, but actually the calculation shows that capacitance does not depend on charge and potential, rather it depends on area of the plates and also separation between the plates. I will give you another example. You have a sphere which has got a positive charge on its surface. Why all times we take positive charge only? Because it is easy to remove the electrons. That's why it acquires a positive charge. So radius is what? R. You write expression for this. C equals to Q by V. Charge divided by potential. Q divided by, what is potential of a sphere? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R. So this will be C equals to, this entire thing will go to the numerator. This Q will cancel. 4 pi epsilon 0 into R. So this also you observe. 4 pi epsilon naught is a constant. This value is 1 by 9 into 10 power 9. Because 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 power 9. So 4 pi epsilon naught will be 1 by 9 into 10 power 9. What is R? Radius. Does it involve with charge here in the expression? No. Potential? No. So therefore, capacitance does not depend on the electrical parameters like charge and potential. It totally depends on the physical parameters like area, distance, radius. Okay? Simple example I will give you. There is a tank, overhead tank, that is constructed to store some 50,000 liters. Whether you fill that tank with water or not, it has got its capacitance. So what is the capacitance of that overhead tanker? How much you say? It is 50,000 liter. Do you say there are only 50,000 liter or more, less than that water? Whether water is there or not, the capacitance will be always what? 50,000 liter only. Similarly, whether you have given some charge to capacitor plates or not, it will have a capacitance. I repeat, whether you give charge to the plates or not, irrespective of providing the charge to the plate, it has got its own capacitance. How much? C equals to A into epsilon naught by D. Okay. So if it has got some 2 centimeters